Hey everybody, this is Rudolf from the Game Invention YouTube channel. Today I want to record a commentary track on one of the levels in our game Eufloria, and I'm going to pick a specific level, this one here, 10 Titans, because it is the closest level that exists in the game as it existed in the very first demo version of the game that we made. I'll talk about that in a minute, so it makes more sense. Let's just play it. Right, 10 Titans. 10 have entered, only one will survive. Defeat all enemies. I think this actually, the title is pretty funny. It's a very subtle hint or reference to one of the Mad Max movies, Thunderdome. Anyway, a bit of trivia. So the thing about this level, it's a very pure procedural level that is quite different every time you play. The starting asteroid placement is completely random, the stats are completely random, and there are 9 other AI factions, also fairly randomized. So you don't really know how it's going to pan out, except the fact that it's a big level. And I'm going to quickly cheat to show you something. So this is my cheat mode. My camera is normally limited, but I'm going to stop doing that, turn that off. When I zoom out, this is the shape of the whole level. And you can see it's a donut, it's a ring. And the reason for that, let me go back. The reason for that shape is when Eufloria was first made, it was called Dyson actually, it was made for a procedural game competition, and we wanted a level that was as procedural as possible, and we ended up on this particular shape as being easier to work with. It's nice and big, but there's still strategy on which, let's say, which side of the circle you expand into. And we worked on that for a while. It had really nice music from Brian Granger, just one track that was very long, that seemed to work very fine with the atmosphere of what was basically meant to be an asteroid belt. That was the other reason why the shape was like that, literally a belt. So that's a bit of the background. I've got to be a little bit careful because around me I can hear enemies doing things. And if you haven't seen Eufloria before, this is how it works. This is an asteroid, an abstract version with attributes that you can exploit to grow new life forms, seedlings that grow on trees. Here we go. You see, these are like flying seeds that detach from the trees, and they become your resources and your units, really. And you can do various things with them. You can plant more trees. And if I press the button again, another tree will grow. So these are like little factories to create new seedlings. Here we go. The sounds that you're hearing, I just randomized my cheap piano sounds within an octave, or bell sounds that I felt went well with the soundtrack. I did all the audio design together with Brian. Brian gave me raw files, and I hammered and hacked them until they worked as game sounds, so that was interesting as well. Again, to complement the music he was also creating, so these sounds all have like a similar timbre, as they say. Anyway, these are like seedling producers. You can also plant defensive trees, this thing here, and now I've hit my tree limit. The defensive trees are like missile defenses. When enemies come too close, here's an enemy right now, that defensive tree here will start shooting these missiles at them. Anyway, I better start looking around me. As you can see, there's no detail for me to look at. And that's because there's a fog of war. Now, if I right-click my asteroid, I automatically select one unit, and I can send it there. It's very important to actually know what's happening around you. So I'm going to do a bit of scouting. Here's an enemy asteroid that is not very well defended, so I am going to pounce. So you can see the first instance of warfare. Now these seedlings are going to attack the trees, and if they manage to take a tree down in time, they get access to the root system, and that means they can enter the asteroid core and conquer it from inside. Now I'm going to do something very quickly, because while I am recording this, it's a bit loud, so I'm going to turn the sound effects down a bit. Oh, that's the asteroid noise actually. Here we go, this one. Let's see if that helps. Yeah, that's better. You can see the damage on the tree. It's getting very red. And even though it has a defensive tree here, it's not doing enough damage to stop my seedlings. And now I can sap the core energy. Every time one of my seeds enters it, it will deduct the health or diminish the health, and when it hits 0, Conquest, the asteroid is mine. Now here's the thing. In most strategy games, you don't really have a movement limitation like the one that we use in Eufloria. In this game, you have a sphere of influence, and it's made up of descending distances, because asteroids have a range, of the connected asteroids that you own. So in this case, this one and this one adds up to this double, well, this shape. That's as far as I can send my units now. So I have to conquer in order to be able to see more of my environment as well, because the camera is clamped in the same way. Well, I still think I have another opportunity here for a fairly weakly defended asteroid. As you can see, the stats are pretty low when it comes to energy, so I'll take one of my stronger asteroids. This one or this one? Let's take this one. A few from here. You can see this wheel, this dynamic. The further I drag it, the more I select. That makes a quick selection quite easy. So I don't have to watch this fight. I'm pretty sure I'm going to win it. So what else can I do? Well, what's this? It's a flower. And the flower can let you upgrade your trees. So I can upgrade a regular tree or a defensive tree. And let's do a defensive tree just because it's fun. You can see it will start to find its way to the tree placement in the soil. And once it's there, here we go, nearly there, it's going to start to, here we go, you can actually see it, build a special unit, an enhanced unit. This will be a laser pod. We'll deal with that in a minute. Now I'm playing very slowly, which is probably not very smart. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, my team still hasn't taken down these trees. Let me add a few more to this attack. And oh, this one is grown now. My laser pod. Another fun thing to keep in mind is that these attributes affect everything. The shape of the seedlings, the shape of your units, how strong they are, how fast they are. In this case, everything is about middle strength. So this is a completely average laser pod. But that can still be useful. So I'm going to send it over here to make sure that no new seedlings survive. It's not the fastest, unfortunately, although I do have speed up buttons, so I can do this, which is a bit naughty. This is actually new to the Eufloria Classic anniversary release. The old one doesn't have this speed up. It's a bit more pure that way. I hope people don't get angry about it, that I changed it slightly. Anyway, so the point is, wow, still fighting. The point is, I need to create a strong empire with plenty of units before the other empires become too big, because they also seek to find new soil, new places to expand into. All this may seem a little bit abstract. Here we go. It's going to be mine soon. But it actually comes from a maybe slightly unexpected inspiration, which is the theoretical physicist Freeman Dyson. Now, Freeman Dyson is known for all kinds of concepts. The most famous one is, of course, his Dyson sphere, calculating the amount of energy you would get if you create a structure completely encasing a star, which is one of his more ambitious ones. But he also came up with a concept called the Dyson tree and the astro chicken. Seriously, it's real, I'm not making it up. Now, the Dyson tree was an idea he had to create a, let's say, a spacecraft that would act like a tree that could grow on asteroids and exploit the resources of the asteroid in order to build factories or terraforming robots and cellular automata to further explore. And that idea, combined with his idea of the astro chicken, which is one of those self-replicating cellular automatas that he thought of, that go out into space, plant an egg, and that egg then hatches on an asteroid and becomes like a mini factory, which is also an idea that is referenced in a Philip K. Dick story called Auto-Fac, for Auto Factory, that pretty much handles the same subject matter. And all these ideas were swirling around in my head when I was working on the design for this together with Alex May, who was the programmer on the project, who contributed all kinds of his own rather excellent ideas to how we would turn this into a procedural game. I can hear all kinds of trees growing and things going on in the background. I'm getting a little bit nervous that I'm going to be swarmed soon. So let's focus a little bit on Conquest. Here's my... there we go. He's done a certain amount of damage. And I think he's done enough, or it has done enough, to soften up. Oh, here you can see the different speeds. Slow asteroid, fast asteroid. I think my laser pod has done enough to soften up this asteroid to make it ripe for conquest. Or pacification, if you want to use an especially awful colonial term. By the way, this is, just to be clear, firmly an anti-war game. It may not seem that way, but the single-player message is very clear about that. Nobody wins a war, only loses. It's the biggest crime there is. This is a very strong asteroid, but extremely poor on health and speed. So it is useful for certain things, not so much for others. Let's do some exploration. See what's happening around us. Did that work? Oh, I've lost this asteroid. Oh dear. That can happen, and when you lose it, you lose the you lose your sphere of influence. So you become so it takes away from your ability to see beyond your borders. Actually, I haven't quite lost it yet. It's just that there are almost no seeds on here, so I have a chance to still defend it. I'm just going to be reckless and send everybody here. In the meantime, I'm going to get my very slow laser pod, put it out on the frontier. So the stats here, my seedlings 70, enemies 30. I think I should win this fight. It depends. Sometimes you're invaded by a very strong enemy, and there can be a tipping point. If they are reduced to a number small enough, it becomes easy, but sometimes the war of attrition, even though you have superior numbers, can go against you. This is looking pretty good though. But a bit of a fright, really, because I could have easily lost that asteroid. So let's see what's going on in other parts of space on this asteroid belt. Okay, this looks a bit scarier. This is quite a capable asteroid. This one isn't, and badly defended. Mine here is very, what's the word, vulnerable, and it has a seed or a flower that I would like to protect. So there are ways to be strategic there. If I pick an asteroid like this one, which is very strong, fairly healthy, not very fast, I can make good defender seedlings on there. So I'm going to enhance that aspect. Send the flower there, and hopefully it will survive the journey. Oh my goodness, it's so slow. Right. And let's look on the other side of the equation. What else have we going on around here? It becomes quite strategic. You need to choose how to use your forces and recognize where the dangers are. Ooh, look at this. We have some inter-empire or inter-enemy fighting going on, which I'm happy with. I'll just let them fight each other for a while. Maybe add to it. I'm going to send my laser pod over there, create some noise, and I'm going to try and defend this asteroid. Let's plant a few more trees on it. In the meantime, this one is being conquered. That's nice. This flower here can now do its job by creating enhanced seedlings, as we call them, which will be very good because it's already a powerful asteroid, and enhanced seedlings have their power greatly enhanced, as the name suggests. Right, let's have a look. Things can get pretty spectacular at some point once the armies get big enough. Another thing I really like about the game, here we go, is this, what you're seeing now is this micro level versus macro level. You can see extremely minute details, grass, individual branches and seeds that grow on them. Look at the size of their noses, by the way. That indicates that they are strong. They have a high strength attribute. That's another thing about the game that is quite unique. Your units are your resources. So you don't go out mining, you know, minerals or spice. No, you mine actual units, and that's a very nice system. And that's a clean system. And those same units, their abilities are affected by the attributes of the asteroids on which you grow them. So, like I said, in this case, things on here are very strong. Here we go. And I'm going to take advantage of that by growing some extra strong seedlings. Sadly, they don't have much health and they're not very fast, but they will be very good when it comes to doing a lot of damage very quickly. They start to glow, as you can see, when they are enhanced. Here we go. As opposed to just this regular tree. But anyway, this micro-macro level. So you can see the smallest detail. Very pretty. And then you can start to zoom out and zoom out and zoom out. And I'm not quite at the level yet, but once you start to conquer enough territory that you can zoom out really far, some interesting things will start to happen, which I will talk about once we get there. Right, what's next? Conundrum. These guys are fighting. There's always guys who are fighting. This asteroid is very well defended. So I'm not completely safe, I think, in attacking it, but I'm gonna do it anyway, because you gotta take some chances in these kinds of floral warfare exercises. I'm going to amass a little army, and once they're all there, I'm just going to see if I can overwhelm the defenses. 101 units. Here we go. Let's see what happens. Some of them will be quite strong because of their enhanced nature. But then these defenses, you can see the green missiles flying if you Watch carefully, they are pretty strong. Don't know where they are coming from, they look massive. Probably over here. There's also a relationship between the size of an asteroid and the combined value of their resources, i.e. their attributes. They're just duking it out amongst themselves. Great. I might scoop in. Scoop in? You know what I mean. In the meantime, this seems fairly quiet. Maybe it's time for me to make a move here. Sometimes you can find a choke point. So if you control one specific asteroid, you have a bit of a bulwark against future invasions. This is looking good. And that's another nice thing. Once I've taken over this asteroid, its resources are mine too. And in this case, even though they are damaged, but in this case that means high quality, fully grown trees, because trees take some time to mature. So this is looking good. Now this is going to be, I suspect, a tough one to crack. So I'm going to send a scout. It's not well defended though. Do I dare to go for this prize? The thing is, when you attack another asteroid, there is a chance that they will call for reinforcements from a part of space that I can't see right now, because I haven't scouted everything. For all I know, there's 500 enemies here waiting to join in the attack. It's not the case in this particular time. Oh, I'm losing an asteroid. No, I will earn it back, not give them time. So I'm going to be a little bit careful. Rather than going for this asteroid right now, this is perhaps more fruitful. First, I'm going to send in my laser pod. I should also grow new units, really. It's a little bit dangerous not to create new trees when you can. One thing we did with the game was to help out, and this is quite a long time ago, 2009, is to help out people with visual impairment. So, for example, this thing here gives easy to read team symbols. So you don't have to rely on color. Let's have that on for now, because why not? Right, now let's see how my slow yet brave laser pod is going to do. I suspect not so well, because these look very strong, these enemies. It's doing some damage, enough to follow up while they are distracted. He's done great, still alive. That thinned out the herd a bit. Right, now let's see, where are we? It's getting bigger, the battlefield. This enemy is starting to scare me. Has built their own laser pod as well with, let's see what other stats. Oof, pretty good ones. Well, I think it is what it is. I think I will, let's see, I will chance it and okay, they are collecting armies over there. Let's grab some more and then perhaps take the bull by the horns. How's this going? Ooh, yes. Let's have a look. Large asteroids also have a very high energy core. Oh dear, reinforcements have arrived. I have actually conquered this, but look at the number of enemies. I may not be able to hold on to this. Let's see. My very slow mine. Oh, apparently I scared them off. I do really like the the flocking behavior, the ebb and flow of how these units move. The bigger the swarm, the prettier it gets, really. Okay, nearly all the enemies are gone. They have taken this asteroid, but I'm not that bothered by that asteroid. Oh my goodness, this slow thing. Very ominous, but very slow. Right, let's have a look. Okay, this looks great. I'm just going to go for it. Here we have a fight between blue and green, who've been fighting each other for a while now. But I'm sneakily going to attack this rather appetizing blue asteroid. And hopefully I've brought enough force to the table to take them out. Doesn't look great at all. It looks very bad. I think I'm going to lose all these seedlings. Well, we will see. In the meantime... Oh. This is no longer my asteroid. It's been reconquered. Let's go here. My... Can you believe it? It's still not there. What about here? 40 enemies. Oh dear. This is what happens when you don't defend well and you talk too much. The enemy will start to make inways into your own territory. Okay, this might still work. What's the state of the trees? Well, not that great. Well, let's see. I think this is going to be a crucial battle. I'm under terrible attack here as well. So this might be one of those demonstrations where I'm actually not going to make it. I've lost this one too now. This might become a two-parter. I mean, I don't win every game. I did spend a long time talking in the beginning. Remember when I said that? But maybe that's not the best thing to do, because the enemy is making moves. I can try and consolidate on some asteroid somewhere. But I feel I'm now fighting a losing battle, as they say. Yep. This is painful. This was mine. It no longer is. This technically still mine, I think. Or at least I have some seedlings on there. This is not mine. Nor is this. Nor is this. This one is. Kinda. Still. I just lost this one. This one is very badly defended now. I'm in trouble. Friends, I'm in trouble. I have no defenders, only enemies. So I will lose that one next. I think I'm done for. Can I stage a comeback? This is mine still. So I'm not completely without resources. This is fairly well defended though. So when you zoom out, you can see the type of trees that are growing on an asteroid. The spiky ones are the defensive trees, while the regular ones are just normal seedlings. Look at this army grow. I'm scared. Yeah, I don't see how I can survive this. But let's give it a go. And if it doesn't, then I will show a few more things about this level before I wrap up this attempt to conquer it. And continue in part 2, where I either give it another go or I take on a different level. Right, this is working nicely. I've taken care of most of the enemies there. Does that mean I can try and save myself? Carefully? Can I take these down? Look at my enhanced seedlings. Now we can see if they are actually going to do some good damage because of their enhanced qualities. I think they are, but some luck is required here. Oh, there's still hope. I am, of course, going to lose the seedlings that send themselves to their doom to the asteroid core to sap down the final defenses. But it is what it is. And one more. It's mine. Perhaps I still have a chance. A small one. Now, should I plant more trees? When you plant a tree, you lose 10 asteroids. I mean 10 seedlings, which is at this stage something I'm not sure I can afford. Let me sacrifice one at least to see what's over here. Let's send a scout. Here they go. And what do we find? Oh dear. I think Team Blue has this in the pocket, really. Because I can't outgrow them. The only way to win this level, I think, if they get distracted, like here. Let them fight amongst themselves, and maybe I can take advantage by sneakily sending my units there to take over the asteroid. But to be honest, they will just conquer it straight back with their superior... Oh, okay. They've become very aggressive. But yes, I think I'm going to admit defeat. I will quickly show some other things that are fun to see. Let me speed it up a bit. Let me at least conquer this. Let's give it one final go. I might get lucky. If they take a non-enhanced tree down, then I inherit the opponent's enhanced trees, which is very nice. So some defenders came and went. What did I lose now? Another asteroid. Okay, well, this is mine. Oh, that's nice. I think this is for a fight that lasts a certain amount of time. Yeah, this is going to become a brutal war of attrition that I will lose over time anyway. Let's go back to debug. I'm going to reveal all the other factions there. Stop limiting the camera and zoom out. Now, this is pretty epic, and you can see that probably it would have been useless for me to keep fighting this, because look at this. Let me slow it down a bit. Green is on the march as well. Yellow, nearly eradicated, poor things. This is... what's this? This is... oh, goodness. This is even more sad. This lost pod. So, who's winning here? It's a pretty even fight between pink, bluish purple and green. The rest, not so much. A final thought. One of the things that we found that was really interesting about this game was how quickly it started to feel like natural hunter-prey cycles. And also a little bit like the way a virus behaves. And it posed some interesting philosophical questions on if you were to send out these kinds of cellular automata, Dyson trees, Astro Chicken, etc. Independent, don't want to quite call them life forms, but let's say entities, and let them propagate. Let's say it's a huge asteroid belt, and within them they carry some kind of mechanical concept, because they all really replicate, but some concept of learning and growing, and you're not that far off from life. if that were allowed to develop over time, how much of the properties of biological life like we know it, or at least intelligence, would eventually be on display? How would they start to behave? Would it be that different from how life forms that we are familiar with would behave? And ultimately, this is competing for resources with multiple generations of self-replicating creatures that adapt themselves to their environment and take on characteristics of their forefathers and forebears, I should say. And is that different from life? Or is life actually not that different from a mechanical virus that we have unleashed here in this game upon this abstraction of the universe, the asteroid belt in this case? It's fun to think about. It's also fun to watch. And it's fun to watch from a distance like this, I think. You have this macro scale and you go into all the detail. And you see this kind of thing happening. Well, with that, I will wrap up this particular commentary, but hopefully this was interesting, informative, and perhaps even a little bit of fun. Thank you very much.